Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Vacho Vedam Manasa Krodha Vedam Jiva Vedam Udrapasta Vedam. The urges of the mind, the urges of anger, the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals. So that is the first instruction of Rupa Goswami to follow. Then there are 6 other verses. So when you have controlled the mind and all these other things, then you think of coming to these other verses. Okay. First follow verse number 1. And then if you do follow verse number 1, that also says, Etam Vegan Yo Vishahita Hira Sarvam Apino Kikivim Sashishya. Such a person who has actually controlled his senses, he is fit to make disciples all over the world. So, it's also saying that you should preach all over the world. So what does this mean? You're being told to preach all over the world and being told to live in Vrindavan. There is no contradiction. Those who are preaching Krishna consciousness all over the world, they are carrying Vrindavan all over the world. It's like Advaita Acharya told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever you are, there is Vrindavan. Wherever there is the chanting of Hare Krishna, there is Vrindavan, because Krishna is always in Vrindavan. Still, if possible, one should visit the land of Vrindavan. Prabhupada also wanted that, therefore he built the Krishna Balaram temple there, so that devotees from all over the world could go and visit. And he wanted some devotees to live there. At one time he said, not more than 20 or 25 devotees to live there. A taste. Sometimes devotees become very eager to enter into very highly advanced levels of devotion. And they say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach this very advanced intimate affairs. That is true, that is absolutely true. But the entrance into those advanced affairs is not by some imagination. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the key for the entrance into advanced spiritual life. That is, Trinad api sunichena taror api sahishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. That is, that one should be feeling himself lower than a straw in the street, void of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer all respects to others. Such a humble frame of mind, continuously chanting the holy names of Krishna. So instead of artificially trying to elevate ourselves to a level which we are not suitable for, we should consider what is the import of this verse, and try to apply this in our lives. Actually, it's not so easy. It's easy to talk, be humble. But real humility is difficult for us to achieve because we're so puffed up with false ego for many, many lifetimes. So that even in service, we think others should honor me. We want to be recognized as a good devotee. We are more interested with making a show of being good, good devotee than actually being a good devotee. Shake off that false ego. It is not impossible, but that requires very serious application in Krishna consciousness. That has been described in the previous verse, how we should chant very carefully. Adarat means with great care, we should chant daily this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And gradually that will cure us of our disease. So this verse is describing how we should live in Vrindavan. It comes after the verse which describes how we should become completely purified by chanting the holy names. So let us work on this purification process. Just like we just now saw the drama, that our bhakta was chanting his rounds, but not very carefully. And he was making a show of being a devotee, but he was more interested how to steal the sweets. And he was thinking So in this world, everyone is basically a demon. Then, another consideration is that basically everyone is also a devotee of Krishna. So those who have manifested, those who have taken a very serious commitment to be a long way from Krishna, they are called envious people. And those who can be approached and who are not instantly envious, who will listen at least to something we say, they may be called innocent. And we see this practically in our preaching, that some people, they are real demons. We had a nice experience on the train from Yaroslav. Digpal can tell you all about it. He could understand Russian, so he had to suffer more than me. How the man was talking about his nice pastimes in Chechnya, cutting people's ears off, and the other man was sitting and saying, "Oh, that's very interesting, that's very nice." So Digpal tried to preach to him, but he was a little bit afraid that the man might do the same thing to him that he was doing in Chechnya. So such a person, he's called a demon, first class, committed. And other people, just like on the train station, people come, "Oh, what's this all about?" Explain a little bit, "Oh, yeah, that's very interesting." So we see practically different attitudes. Then another question.
Hare Krishna.
Well, I'm planning, I visited St. Petersburg for the second time. Last time was 9 years ago. I hope next time will be not so much time. Everything is in the hands of Krishna. But I'm planning to come every year to Russia. No, man proposes, God disposes. Krishna is the center of all relationships. If we are very serious to serve Krishna, then automatically how we relate with the devotees will become very nice. If we try to make adjustments on the mental platform, it will never be successful. That's what the karmis are doing. In the Western countries, you'll find so many books about how to relate with others and personnel management and all this kind of thing. But our solution for the problem, how to relate with others, how to organize the society so everyone is satisfied, is very simple. Yathakaror moolam yashechenena chityanti tatskanda vichalashantam. This verse is in the Bhagavatam that just like pouring water on the root of the tree, the roots, flowers, twigs, everything is nourished. Pranopaharachcha yatindriyanam, another example, just like if food is given to the stomach, the whole body is nourished. Tathaiva sarvahanam achyuteja. In the same way, if we offer all our attention to Krishna, then everyone else becomes satisfied. So we should see devotees, they are like the representatives of Krishna. They're very dear to Krishna. So naturally, if we are becoming attached to Krishna, we're becoming attached to the devotees also. It's better not to think how to do it. Just do it. It's much easier. You can go on all my life thinking, how shall I do it, how shall I do it, how shall I do it. It's much easier just to do it. Stop having wrestling matches with our mind. Shall I do it? Shall I not do it? Yes, let me do it. No, I won't do it. If I do it, what will happen? In this way we spend our whole lives and we never do it. We do it today, tomorrow, and a million years, so why not do it now? That was so. Someone had some hat and they had just do it. So just do it. Someone is standing outside the swimming pool and they're thinking, shall I jump in or not? Shall I jump in or not? They're standing outside the swimming, they're standing next to the swimming pool and they're thinking, shall I do it or not? So I think, how shall I do it? It's very easy. It's interesting. You're thinking, oh, it'll be so cold. So sometimes someone will just come and push you in. Then you have to swim. So one thing is, if we take up some difficult service, then we just have to do it. So instead of thinking, well, shall I surrender or not, why not take up the challenge to do something difficult? Instead of thinking, well, should I surrender to Krishna or not, why not think, how can I distribute 200 books a day? And go out and try and do it. And pray to Guru and Krishna for the strength to do it. You may not be able to do it immediately, but if you pray to Guru and Krishna, after some time, they may empower you to do it. So this is the way to do it. Not do it half-heartedly. Try to serve Krishna in very, very pleasing way. Try to do something wonderful for Krishna. Okay, here's the last. Well, I didn't really choose my spiritual master. He picked me up like this, very kindly. And how did I become fit to become a disciple? I'm still thinking about that now. Not fit, but Prabhupada's kindness. That he's allowing me to engage in some service. So, Hare Krishna, I'd like to